Welcome to the Losers Bracket Final. We are still in Group A of the Anniversary Cup and we have another best of 5 series on our hands. So, this is for all the marbles right now. Who makes it into the playoffs and who drops out of the tournament? At least for now. There is a last chance qualifier, but the group ends with this series and the team that advances makes it into the playoffs straight away. A lot of teams actually expected, a lot of viewers, players expected that the Exodia stack would just crush through that winner bracket and make it happen, but turns out that they find themselves in the losers bracket facing off against the three-legged cats. And if you haven't watched the winner bracket final, I would highly recommend that you check it out because it was bonkers. So now we're going into another best of 5 and let's see which team is able to take the lead. Again, in the Anniversary Cup for the 10-year anniversary for Heroes of the Storm, we have more than $3,000 of prize money in total. It's going to be a pretty long event that is going to be with us for a couple of weeks now. But we have no draft restrictions. Everything can be played here. When we're talking about the Exodia stack, they were very heavily leaning into Jimmy so far and played a lot of Reina. Won most of their games there, but obviously pretty normal if you make it all the way into the winner bracket final. But also started to lose some also as teams adapted more and more. And so far, there's not really all that many teams that have actually played with Jimmy. A few tried to emulate this, but most of them just simply shrugged it off and stuck to their normal drafts. The one thing to also point out here is that currently Cure is playing for the Exodia stack. Benny, who was playing with them throughout the tournament, was also supposed to play here, but apparently, as they were supposed to start their game, he wasn't online and they couldn't reach him either. They apparently called him on his phone and he didn't reply. So Cure is swapping in. Not really a crazy thing right now considering that Cure played with these guys tons and tons of times. He was already online, warmed up a little bit earlier. So there's that. Cure will fit in very well with them. But if during the draft or at any point during the series Benny all of a sudden shows up, don't be surprised if all of a sudden Cure is missing and Benny swaps back in for them. With Garden of Terror being the first map, we have Johanna being played as the first one. And now we have De Haka and Meridan on the other side as a quick double pick. Alright. So, strong front line for them. Also global with Garden of Terror. I want to see how the cats react to this now. I mean, for them, it's a big chance, right? So if they are able to imagine Exodia's actually not qualifying through this directly. That would be crazy. If they have to go through a last chance qualifier, that would be wild. Hanzo and Blaze, now the picks for the cats. And cats obviously a really strong team that oftentimes was able to also place higher and higher. But at the same time, they never really had that massive breakthrough, but they can cause an upset. They can always cause an upset, and they've proved it time and time again. So if Exodia stack for some reason doesn't properly vibe now in this best of 5 series, their mistakes will be exploited by the red team and punished. But still, blue team obviously the favorites heading into this. So Brightwing gets banned as we're going through the last ban rotations for our starting map. Gun of Terror has been played a couple of times now as the starting map too. So it really seems that it's a map choice of Exodia stack and they really like to play this out here. And with a global, they can set a lot up, of course, too. Dehaka, also very, very nice when we're talking about just trying to go for our mercenary camps. I mean, it's one of the main reasons why Hogger, for example, is banned, because it's just so strong at taking those camps that he is a huge asset to have on Garden of Terror. So, over on the left side, let's see what we're going to get as our next pick. Falstad gets actually banned, so they don't want to go up against the double global. They were a little bit afraid that there is too much of a macro focus from the Exodia stack. So they were just like, you know what, Dehaka, we can deal with him, but if they go Dehaka and Falstad, then we have 2 globals to deal with and they can just run circles around us. How about we don't do that? And also, there have been some pretty mean gusts earlier that decided fights, so Falstad is out for utility purposes mostly. Junkrat and Rhaegar, therefore, as the follow-up choices for Exodia stack, and that leaves us with our final 2 picks for the red team before we're heading into game number 1 of the best of 5. So the cats, who by the way established dominance in the previous series, they were up against another team called Cats, and they were just like, no, 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 no. We are the only cats in the house. We're gonna take this one. Tracer and Anduin. So we get a fair amount of Overwatch. We have a light bomb engage with Tracer to try and take Junkrat out here. And Dino, of course, last but not least, are we getting Jimmy again? Is he just looking at Tracer and saying like, how about some good auto attack damage? How about we go for my boy again? Who still has not been banned once. But let's see if they do it. No, they're actually letting it slide. They go for Genji. Genji is the final pick. Garden of Terror is the first map. Let's head straight into it. Exodia stack, ladies and gentlemen. Here, the losers bracket final of Group A against the Cats. Game number 1 starts off on Garden of Terror, and over on the left side we have Hazorbs on Junkrat. We get Cure on Murden for the team in blue, Bloodcool on Dehaka, Dino on Genji, and Yazu on Rhaegar. On the right side of the map, it is Anduin, played by Captain Rex as the support and healer for the team. We have Twice on Johanna, going straight into Zealous Glare on level 1. Zelia is still the best with Zealous Glare, but I'll give Johanna second. We got Draco and Tracer here on Blaze, and Nano is playing Hanzo. So, off to a good start here. I like it. Our five mapper, best of 5 series in the losers bracket final. Who advances the playoff straight away? Who is gonna drop out of the group and will have to try again potentially try again in the last chance qualifier. Nice connect to the jet propulsion and a quick stun. And the Cats are off to some nice aggression, but they also are about to lose. No, Tracer, she gets out. Dino gets murdered. The Zealous Glare takes her out. So, the Cats, they take the first kill against their opponent. Nicely done. Well played. That was already a big first kill here for them. So, good job. They're able to murder Dino, who this time did not go for Jimmy. So, nicely played out. And of course, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal in the sense that the game is not gonna hinge on that. But if you win the 5-man fight at the beginning, it's already a good start. So, nice for them. Now the focus shifts a little bit more towards the mercenary camps, obviously. So, the teams are already going straight for that. We have an invade attempt here by a few of the players, just trying to slow this down too, while Hanzo's taking the mercenary camp over on the right side. But they're actually sending a couple of heroes over. Rhaegar's finally able to take the camp for them, and with Dehaka missing the tongue, they are going for Jojo again shortly after. She's getting absolutely body blocked here, and is able... No, the grenades! Junkrat comes in from the side and just drops her. God, that was so close. Jojo nearly got away here, and then, yeah, Junkrat was just somebody that they didn't account for in that situation, and he took full advantage of that. So, yeah, good for Junkrat, good for the team to get the kill. Now, in addition to that, while they're taking the next mercenary camp, they also have taken a lead in experience over their opponents, so that's already another win for them. Top side, we have, of course, also the attempt to get the camp here too, so they're making a move on this. And time will tell who is able... Oh, actually, hello? Dino? Someone is playing with fire here. Murden jumped in to block them a bit. The Zealous Glare comes out again, but this time no dice. So they don't get the kill, but this could still have been a little bit tricky. There was a chance that Dino dies again. 2 kills against Genji this early on would have been surprising to say the least. But Murden still at the top, fighting this out. They're trying to go for Blaze, and actually with the body blocks that are currently executed, they're gonna get the kill. Full ganked up on him. Blaze goes down. Second kill for the Exodia stack. Down at the bottom of the map. Oh, Hazu gets killed. Hazorbs is dead. They're trying to punish the culprit, but can't. But we have a lot of action actually at the beginning of the game. So both of the teams already getting busy here. We have Jojo holding on to the bot lane for now. I mean, there's a lot on the line for the teams, of course, here too. You want to at least qualify the playoffs as quickly as you can. There's a lot of prize money on the line, north of 3,000 euros, of course. Top side, we now have also Blaze still getting the experience for the team. They are now catching up with the blue team. We have both of them on level 7 talents, which give us Skullcracker, for example. The Gambit talent for Dehaka. And the next objective also up on the map, but the spawn position of the second seed much better now for the blue team. So it stands to reason that they're going to be the ones to get the seed here. Dino again interrupting rotations and slowing them down, but also eating a lot of damage as they're coming in and getting that stun connected right away. Nobody's really taken a proper lead in the game yet. That experience advantage for the blue team could, on the other hand, add up as things continue. So, yeah, that's still a solid chance that they have as this goes on. The wall destroyed at the bottom of the map, opening up the path towards the fort. Topside seed has, by the way, not been taken yet, so they're just slowing this down. Hanzo is going for the siege giants, but they're going to sniff that out in a moment. But there's just a few too many heroes around for them to... Well, actually, now that they're rotating in Muradin and Genji, that's a different story. All of a sudden, it's a 4 versus 4. They're trying to take the siege giants here. Tracer is down. The invade of the Exodia stack is so far successful. They might lose Rhaegar, though. He dies, but they want to get that point. Junkrat jumps out. The rest of the team has also to retreat, and they still lose Dehaka. Dehaka gone. So a 2-for-1 trade in kills. Nearly getting Cure here. He's able to move back out, but at the end of the day, as the dust settles, it's not really worth for Exodia stack. They lost 2 of their heroes. They didn't take the camp. So that's highly annoying. And now, since they have heroes just coming back from the Nexus, there's a lack of defense at the bottom of the map, which is going to result, obviously, in the wall being destroyed. So this one is gonna get dropped. Yep. Level 10 abilities are therefore also a bit faster for the cats right now. No surprises given their choices. Tracer with the light bomb again engage later as a possibility for them. Obviously, we also have at the same time now the blue team with their own ults. Riptire's in, we get Avatar. And the seed at the top left are still not being taken. Nobody's going for it. They're going for Muradin instead. And he gets crushed. The Ancestral was just a moment too late from Rhaegar. He wasn't able to grab that. The arrow, and damn! The cats unleashed. 6 kills to 3. And picking up the kills one by one here. So they are doing great. There's another attempt to take down Hazops at the bottom of the map. And I think they are going to grab him too. Hazops dies once more. 7 kills to 3. The Exodia stack is really showing some weakness currently. That was the case now a couple of times, and they are having serious trouble here. Dino is going for Hanzo, tries to get the kill with the X-Strike. Can't, has to still jump out. Dehaka moves in. They still want the kill. They are going to get it. Nano is going to fall, but will Dehaka survive? He does, gets the lick on Anduin, gets even his ult out on him. But there's just not enough of a follow-up to make this a double kill for the blue team. They got close, though. But, yep, it's definitely on. We are now 7 minutes into the game, and we have 11 kills. Camps still claimed all over the place. The experience is more or less identical. 22,000 damage from Hanzo, 22,000 from Genji, the Shimada brothers reigning supreme here. And still, nobody cares about the objective. The seed at the top left has still not gotten any attention whatsoever. Yeah, and while teams are fighting for level 13 talents and more camps, there's another fight brewing on the horizon every single time. Cure gets attacked again. There's the Ancestral, and this time it works out. But you can see the enormous amount of pressure against Muradin. So this is a bit of a warning sign. This is not going to be an easy series for the Exodia stack. They came in as the favorites for sure. But this is still some huge problem that they're facing. They're off against a tough opponent that is showing some enormous aggression right now. As they should. Not intimidated at all. Again, making the play now for Dino. Arrow. Oh, the X-Strike dodge. Dino with an absolute beast reaction here. But Muradin still gets killed. So as they can't kill Genji, they're going instead for Muradin to take him down. Now the seed about to be claimed. The Cats had enough waiting for this, so they're trying to get the seed here. Position be damned. But as this plays out, look at that reaction again. Arrow comes out and then the insta-dodge. I mean, on point. Tracer kills the Haka. Fight still continuing here. And the Exodia stack is really starting to be in trouble. That seed will probably be taken. I mean, Junkrat can only interrupt for so long. And they're losing another one. They're losing Rhaegar. What is happening here? These kills are just being picked up everywhere. They go for Dino, they can't get him. They turn on Muradin, kill him again. They then drop the Haka. Shortly after that, it's Rhaegar that falls. The Cats are just going from kill to kill. Finally, some signs of life from the blue team. They take Jojo out. So Johanna is now dead. But all in all, I gotta admit, this is such a great performance that we're getting from the Cats now. And they're getting another kill. They're coming in and drop Muradin. They're brutalizing Cure here. Cure obviously playing from an A, so he plays with the ping disadvantage. We still have to highlight that. Yes, he's played 1,000 times on Europe. He's used to it. You can definitely argue that it doesn't change the fact that he's playing with a bit of a ping disadvantage, which is obviously contributing to things. But the team is having such a hard time here that it's really surprising. Now, they were able to take at least Trace out. That's a big one. So they are starting to get a couple of kills as well, which is really important here. They're not only on the receiving end, but they're also able to dish out a bit, and they need to get some of those seeds because the next one would spell out Garden Terrors for the Cats. So there's the Storm Ball, Jet Propulsion to save Anduin. They go in again, Light Bomb, and Genji will take that kill. Takes down Anduin. The Crybaby is gone. The seed, by the way, is still up. So the blue team guarantees this one. Took them a little bit longer to grab it, but they get it. So the seed is taken, and they are back in experience range as well. So they are still making some really nice plays, but this normally so dominant performance and them just calling the shots over and over again, which we're used to from the Exodia stack, was missing up to now. But now, maybe they've stabilized. Maybe they just found their rhythm as they're going for the fort in the middle. Arrow gets dodged. Really nice. Beautiful. Yeah, that arrow, woof. That's quite some momentum. So, watch out, Florida. It's on its way. 7 kills to 11. But this is looking a bit more like it. The Cats are not giving up on anything here. They have a really nice spawn position for the next seed. And they are going to attempt, of course, to use this to their advantage to get the first Garden Terrors of the game, which would change the dynamic once more. Even if they don't take a lot of structures out, it would help them to gain a bit more map control and push these lanes back out, which is always a huge win as well. So, already the attack against Cure here. He's jumping back out right away. Yep. Okay, and in the meantime, we have still the next little play for that seed. And that's the big one, because, again, this is Garden Terrors right there. And they're getting... No! They interrupt! Okay. Interrupt from Junkrat once more. But they're not getting in position. And honestly, I think at this point they accept that that is not going to happen. But Bloodcool gets a lot of damage out at the bottom of the map. So one fort is destroyed on the red team side too. But the Garden Terrors are now a reality. I think they just surrender to the fact that they won't be able to stop them. They at least got value from the Haka as their global hero at the bottom of the map, and now they just have to do the best they can to properly defend and not lose too much in the process. They are still even with the opponent when we're talking about experience, so by no means are now they are all of a sudden on the back foot again. We have, yeah, top side defended quite nicely. The Haka is sitting in the middle of the map and is dealing with the Garden Terror there. But this one has already been taken out. So this is the first one to fall. The Haka with very nice damage also down at the mid lane. So the red team is not getting a ton out of this. I suppose they might be able to get the bot lane fort. The Haka even tunneling in for it. Genji, on the other hand, again caught and killed. Dino is slacking today. That is kill number... Oh, my bad. It's only kill number 2 against him. Apologies. I thought he already died 3-4 times. He didn't. So yeah, but he gets caught again and killed. So they're now with 4 back on the map. bottom fort gets saved. So did the one in the middle. But the red team is now realizing that they have an opportunity here to push. Because, again, they are in a situation where they can now try and ensure that they are getting that fort. They have the numbers advantage. So here's the Reptile, and that's a kill on Anduin. Anduin is down. They're trying for Muradin, but there's also the counterplay on Blaze as they're going for Herath. Yeah, Muradin with Avatar jumping into the fray once more. It's the Stormbolt, but the Iron Skin is out. Blaze, then again, has been successfully killed. So with him gone, there's now a chance for the blue team to go for a fort. It is blow for blow. I mean, play after play. The two teams with an endless back and forth here as another one connects. Stormbolt hits hard. They're going for Tracer, and Dino gets the kill. Dino takes Tracer out. The fort destroyed in the middle, and the Haka is working hard to eliminate the fort at the top too. So they're going to take all of the forts out. We are on level 20, 15 minutes into the game with all of the action that we've seen. 22 kills in total. The Haka straight up with the Contagion. We got Rewind, and even the Keep is taking damage. There's only 3 defenders right now. It is rough times. So, yep. Brutal for the Cats. Off to such a great start in the first game of this best of 5 series. But now there is just momentum after what we're seeing from the blue team. It was a small snowball initially, but it turned into an avalanche. And they won that keep with the level 20 advantage that they're running here. And Tracer still dead for another few seconds, and that's all that they're going to need in order to get that keep. At least I thought so, but maybe not. They're trying to poke. Grenades are coming in, and they're dropping it low. Hanzo is at the top. They're trying to get experience for level 20, of course. They want to do their best to draw even in talents, but the keep falls. So, keep in the middle, destroyed. All of the forts are already gone. In comparison, the Cats have not been able to take a single fort out. They've done a lot of damage, but they haven't been able to take a fort out. And of course, this was with an objective. They were the ones able to grab one objective in the game. One set of Garden Terrors. Blue team hasn't had that opportunity yet. They have currently 1 single seed. The next one down at the bottom of the map will be claimed in a moment from Genji. But, yep, rough times. 43,000 damage for Junkrat. We have 63,000 for Hanzo, who is the top damage dealer in the game here. And, yeah, the Cats are pinned down a bit. They have level 20, finally, which allows them, of course, also to leverage their Storm talents. But with 2 seeds against 0, this will be a tough one either way. They have to essentially fight for every single seed from here on out. Muradin has to give this one up. Here uses Rewind and jumps out. It's unfortunate. Oh, the arrow! The stun! He gets Avatar, but that's the end of Muradin either way. Beautiful CC chain. Fantastic CC chain by the team. And now Muradin is down and they have to retreat for now. So, yep, not bad. Great job. And the seed is spawning. I mean, this gives the Cats a little bit more wiggle room again. So, not really in a position where they can all of a sudden say, alright boys, we're back in charge. But it gives them some wiggle room. And then on top of it, of course, they have now a chance to maybe get themselves also a seed. At least prevent the next one from spawning Garden Terrors for the blue team. Especially if they're now feeding kills to them. Bloodcool gets the Ancestral. Okay, they're fine. But they gotta be really careful here. I mean, they are taking too many risks considering that they are only with 4 on the map. Now that said, there is of course the global factor too. You have the problem that you're up against the Haka, who can easily make plays throughout the map here. There's also a big camp with Catapult coming through the bot lane right now. They're trying to buy some time for Muradin to come back and interrupt. Yeah, and they interrupt again, but it's a little bit too late, so the seat is already taken. That would have been a really nice one, because if you can pin them down here, that camp at the bot lane with the Catapult would have done enormous amounts of damage and potentially even take a keep out. So interrupting there was not only about trying to have a chance to get the tribute, it was really trying to set a play up that would allow them to get a lot of value out of this. And it just didn't work out. So it's kind of funny, by the way, because the cats have actually more kills than the Exodia stack. 13 to 10. Now, next seed spawning at the bottom of the map. Will the blue team make a play for this? And they kind of have to. Well, they don't have to, but if they don't, then it's even Steven on tributes. And each team has 2. Siege Giants for the lane in the middle. Not helping them too much. Top lane pressure would be way nicer. Always going for the next keep to take out. But we're now nearly 20 minutes into the game. Yeah, Cure's already jumping around again. Very mobile squad just in general. I mean, there's so much mobility here. Genji obviously is zipping in, out, left, right the entire time. But the Haka is now back to his shenanigans as expected earlier. So he's trying to take some out there. There's a strong catapult too. Next one not quite coming in. Fight down here. They are going for Anduin. Light bomb. And Anduin is nearly gone. The Ancestral on the Haka. Not even needed in that situation, but they still pull it off. They get the kill. Anduin is dead. And now the attempt to go for the follow-up kill on Blaze, who turns it around with the jet propulsion. The blue team is rather low, but Genji gets the resets now with a Swift Strike, and that's a kill. Twice also in trouble. Blaze is gone. Anduin is dead. Johanna is about to fall. Here come the Garden Terrors, and they don't even need them. With Tracer eliminated and Genji just going from kill to kill, they can go straight up for the core here. It's a 5-man team wipe, as Exodia stack is heading towards the core to lock in the lead in this loser bracket final. The 1-0 with a victory on Garden of Terror for the blue team. Nicely done. Well played. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Dragonshire, map number 2. Exodia stack is in the lead and back with their full 5-man. Benny has rejoined us. It was actually quite funny. I asked him if he had to take care of another train. In case you're not familiar with, we had a tournament, I think it was like 2 years ago, where Benny at some point before the match even started said, like, guys, at this time, I need 5 minutes. And everybody was just like, why do you need 5 minutes? And why can you, like, tell us exactly the time? Pizza deliveries are usually not that precise. So it turned out that he was playing from a laptop and apparently was at work, and he was working at some like railway station where he had to deal with some incoming trains and make sure that they were on the right track and stuff like that. So ever since then, Benny has been the train master. And when he rejoined the lobby, we were immediately joking. I was saying, like, so was it another train? And he's like, no, honestly, it was just that I didn't realize we were 30 minutes in the replay discussion. So they lost the winner bracket final, spent 30 minutes afterwards going over replays and just checking out, okay, what should we do differently, what went wrong. And Benny then thought, hey, I have 1.5 hours left. Because, well, it's a best of 5 coming in, so even worst case scenario, they are playing 3 maps and have 1.5 hours. So he didn't realize that they already spent 30 minutes going over the replays, and when he then came back and checked his phone, we just started map number 1. So I told him that that story is just too boring, and he's like, go with the train story, I don't mind. So we know the reality, but in my heart, he was taking care of another train. Alright? That's what it is. Benny is the reason that Swedish trains run on time. Actually, I have no idea, like, if that was just a short job, if that's something that he still has to do every now and then, know what's going on there. But it's also one of the reasons, in case you were wondering, why he actually is oftentimes using a choo-choo mount. That's literally part of the reason. Dragonshire is our map. The team is already in the lead, so Cure was doing extremely well, subbing in for Benny. He himself now with Johanna as the pick on Dragonshire for our second map. We got Hogger over on the right side, the Lucio first pick for the Cats, as they are, of course, trying to get back into this. Even Rexa banned out. Rexa, the king of Dragonshire, something that Hazel plays quite a lot, so therefore taken out. We got Sylvanas and we got Dehaka. Yeah, and I'm wondering, where are the Reyna picks? Come on! Exodia stack, Dino, I'm gonna see something here. The entire time, the confidence was just oozing out of every single pore. And now all of a sudden, Jimmy is not worth it anymore after losing in the winner bracket final. I'm disappointed. I want to see something right now. Show the trust that you have in the order attacks and lock Jimmy in again. They kind of won without him on the last map, but now it's time to get Jimmy back into play. Right? Can't be the only one that is waiting for it. Genji banned. So no light bomb engage. That would have been possible. Anduin plus Genji, but let's see. What are we getting for damage? Is Dino going for some ratatatata with Jimmy? Or are we gonna see some different play? Tracer maybe again. But first, Malfurion, Tracer. And yep, there she is. Tracer and Malfurion with Malf. That makes perfect sense to go for Tracer. So chances that we're going to get Jimmy are a little bit more slim. But still a possibility. If they wanted to go for Global, they could technically also still go for Falstad. Let's not forget about that. And over on the right side, the final 2 picks for game number 2. Second map in the best of 5 at the losers bracket final. And what's it gonna be? Well, for twice at the front, we get Varian and Zagara. Yeah, Dino special as well. Nano locks Zagara in, and we have Varian now with the taunt. So, not bad. That leaves us, of course, immediately with the final pick for Hazu. There is a chance that they themselves wanted Zagara. That's actually one of the pet projects for Dino for a long time, to just make sure that everybody knew how good Zagara can be in certain situations, and I would argue that it worked out for him. And we get the Vikings. Nice. Huge win for us. Alright, so we get Malfurion, Tracer, and then the last pick, the Vikings. Dragonchild, ladies and gentlemen, our second map in the best of 5 series. The blue team is in the lead, of course, with a 1-0. Now we have on the left Hazorps with the Vikings. Bad Benny, back from dealing with trains, is playing Johanna. We got Bloodcool on Hogger. Yazu on Malfurion, and Dino is playing Tracer in game number 2, zipping around and annoying people. Over on the right side, though, with a strong showing in game number 1, wasn't enough to take the victory, but still, they played well. The Cats with Captain Rex on Lucio, we have twice on Varian, Dracula on Sylvanas, Nano with Corpse Feed on level 1 for Zagara, and Hirath on Dehaka. So, let the games begin. It is party time. Can the red team equalize the series, or will it be a 2-0 lead for the Exodia stack? That's the question here. Now, we have already down at the bottom of the map, yep, Nano just doing Zagara things. Has obviously set a couple of creep tumors up, so it's not easily gankable. But they will have to deal with it, and yeah, there's quite a few heroes, as you can obviously already see, that are very good at taking down those creep tumors, and that's what they're going to do throughout of the game. If you don't do that, another good example here, then Zagara just has free vision the entire game, and this is not really a spot that you want to be in. So you need to be diligent about taking creep tumors out, no matter where you encounter Zagara, or she's gonna run all over you as the game continues. Talking about running all over people, oh! That was clutch. Dehaka, a little bit too close for comfort, if you ask me. But he gets out, so all good in there. At the bottom of the map, Zagara still with a bit of work to be done here. And still taking the creep tumors out. It's actually, the creep hasn't even properly spread yet, and they're already getting eliminated. Oh, poor Eric. Hazu doesn't pay attention for a second, and all of a sudden Eric is absolutely drenched in acid from those banelings and nearly dropped, but he's fine, at least for now. Top side though, Hogger, they try to go for him, maybe take him out too, yeah, and he gets away. So Bloodcool is zipping out as well, and it's a nice back and forth already. Nobody getting any nasty kills just yet, so yeah, none of that is happening here. Everybody is, of course... I mean, there's a couple of agendas at work. On the one hand, you have the Vikings, which are already gearing towards a potential late game here too. You're trying to maintain the map control as best as you can, and they're able to do a whole lot with this. But then on the other side, you have the killer comp with level 4 Taunt for Varian right now that they're attempting to use to get themselves some easy pickoffs at the beginning of the game. So far, that hasn't quite happened yet. But it could, of course, at any point start to be a big thing here for them. And I'll guess we'll see how much they can do with this. But right now, Zagara, she's still down at the bottom of the map, trying to control that particular point as best as she can. We have also, at the same time now, some camps still claimed. The Siege Giants, for example, over here from the blue team. Dehaka is the only... Well, it's a little bit weird to call the Haka the only global, considering that we have Vikings. Technically, Vikings are not global. They can't just simply port from one end of the map to the other without using their ult. So I guess you could call them a pseudo-global, but they're fulfilling a very similar purpose here when it just comes to control, to point control. And the Haka can do that, of course, a lot and is attempting to use it at the top lane, but there's also the continuous attempt by the blue team to send the Vikings in this case Balor, who gets taken out, to just maintain the control and work towards the first Dragonite of the game. So yeah, they're doing what they can there. But we got Jojo still in the middle. Down at the bottom of the map is where the main action is now ramping up. Still waiting for kill number 1, by the way. We are nearly 4 minutes into the game and haven't seen one yet. Red team, the first one to really threaten Dragonite. But I would guess that the Vikings are very quickly starting to take control of the top once more. So only a little bit of a threat in the middle that at least forced them to respond. But it's not only the top that is about to be taken. Down at the bottom of the map we see the same thing. So they're starting to take this too. Varian went deep. He really wanted to have Tracer here. But he dove in very deep as she started to just zip towards the towers. So Varian was in for a bit of a ride on this attack. But he is obviously a huge threat to Tracer. If Tracer gets taunted and then damage comes in, she is gone. And they know that too. So she needs to stay away from him. Or at least make sure that there is not going to be a proper follow-up that can cause a problem. Now it's full control again for the Cats. Blue team, we're nearly 5 minutes in, still no kills. Tracer is still looking to do some damage that can finally result in a kill opportunity. But down at the bottom of the map we have, for example, Sylvanas also using the side lanes whenever they are abandoned to start pressuring the structures more, and in this case even take the entire wall out. Yeah, still doing their best here. Zagara has moved into the middle. With level 7 talents, we also now have Spin to win for a bit more. Benny! Alright, gets out, gets the assistance from Malfurion, as now Hogger moves in too. Top lane. The Haka is taking quite a few of the Vikings out here. And he makes it possible for them to pressure this lane more and more, so some of those towers in the gate will soon fall. Talking about falling, Nano goes down, damn! But Tracer gets also killed. So it took 5.5 minutes until we finally have some kills in the game. And then both of the teams lose a hero right away. So Zagara gets killed, Tracer gets punished for it. A lot of Vikings have of course fallen as well, making up the additional kill that is on the board for the Cats. The Haka retaking the top. And we're getting level 10 at any moment now. And down at the bottom of the map, with the continuous pressure that we're seeing from Sylvanas, it really starts to pay off for the Cats that they have Dracula on the hero here. So that is all free damage that he gets. Ignoring Eric for now, rest of the rotation is coming, but this is a lot of free damage that they got on that fort. That's a third of the hit points gone. And with Lucio's help, they can easily retreat here. The Vikings are still guarding the Dragonite in the middle. So Olaf is still in place. But there comes again the attack. No taunt. Not using that right away, but already threatening Tracer and just telling her, get the hell out of here. You have no business on this one. And yeah, Tracer aiming for Sylvanas. Not able to get the kill on her. But forcing her back a bit too. So it is still close. Very close here. There comes Mind Control. Falling Sword. Big engage. Hogger gets hit. But it's not enough to really cause problems here. It is Jojo on the other hand. Bad Benny that falls a moment later. Another one. Oh, they're trying to go for Tracer. And they take her down too. Tracer is eliminated as well. Job well done. The Haka didn't seem it's noteworthy. He didn't want to go down there and help out, so he just stayed at the top through all of this. And we have the next attack, of course, happening towards that fort. And this is really the Cats just pulling... I don't want to say farther and farther ahead, because yes, they have a bit of a lead, but it's not that crazy just yet. But taking that fort out is, of course, big. Taking the fort out, being able to look at 4 kills to 1. So at the beginning of the game, they're once again looking strong. Last time that happened, the blue team turned it around though, but I don't know if they can this time, because Malfurion has now died, the Dragonite has been claimed. So there's actually a lot of things happening for the Cats, which are snowballing the game more and more in their favor. So that's kind of nasty. Yeah, this could start to become seriously problematic. Now, down here in the mid lane, that's also where we're seeing the next attack. Again, the falling sword from Benny. Has to try and engage here. Sylvanas factor is something that can't be ignored. So the Dragon Knight is attacking the top lane, and the rest of the team is moving through the middle. And is doing their work here. It's 6 kills to 1. And that one kill was Tracer getting murdered after going a bit too deep. And again, Benny down. I mean, at that pace, they're gonna swap Cure back into the game. Cure is looking at this and is like, well, guys, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but you won the game with me. The Cats with 7 kills to 1, and they're not happy with only taking 1 fort down. They're going for number 2. Yeah, Olaf gone, but can they go for... Ah, they can't take twice down. Varian is just a bit too powerful here. So, yep, that is actually a 1 level lead now. 2 forts destroyed. The Vikings just not cutting it just yet for the Exodia stack. On the other hand, with level 16 and the utility that the Vikings get through their stun, all of that could of course change. So this game is not over. Both teams have level 13 talents. We have Zagara with the top damage at 28,000. Tracer has 20,000 for the blue team. So yeah, it's also starting to get some work done here. Hera's getting attacked again. Careful. Yeah, and there's the root. They really want that kill, but I don't think they can get it. There's too many defenders there already. And there's the taunt on Hogger. Those are just moves where it's like, you are asking for some trouble. Malfurion has to pop his ult in order to keep him safe, but at least they were able to keep him safe, so that's good news. Vikings still pushing at the bottom of the map, and also guaranteeing the team a lot of experience. If you're just looking at how the experience came to pass so far, the minion experience is one of the aspects, one of the areas where the team is still in decent shape. So that is the good news. Now, mercenary experience as well, it's just really the hero XP that is a huge no-no. And of course, on top of that, also the passive experience, which is now tilting more and more in favor of the 3-legged cats. So, yeah. That's another one. But level 16, that's another problem that's going to come up in a few seconds. Still looking, of course, also on what we're getting now on the level 16 talents and how exactly the blue team is going to react to it, because they have to bridge an entire level in order to undo that damage and close that gap. Lucio with up the frequency. Zagara also with the corrosive saliva. So a lot of the tools that Zagara now has are also threatening the front line more and more. And she gets good damage out of all of this. Yeah, with the 16 talents now all the way at the top. They're going to take control here again. If they take another Dragonite, it is going to wreak havoc. I mean, this is not that late in the game yet, so it doesn't scale enormously. But I think they're just going to let this slide. They're going to try and defend against it. They're not even... Well, they are attempting to interrupt, but it's already too late. So the Dragonite gets taken. Even the timing here is off by just a little bit. So, unfortunate for them. And the DK is going to attempt to open up the bot lane. This is where you can set up all of the mercenary camps. They're trying to go here. There's a... I mean, there's a little bit of a tortured attempt to go for a kill at the top. But the problem is that Zagara and the Dragonite are now both pushing through the bot lane. You can't let these two just go for this. So Jojo is moving in and is starting to threaten Zagara. The rest of the team is also coming in. Now they have level 16. They got the stun now and they need to use it. Olaf needs to get there. Nano is still alive though. But that's a kill. Eventually, the kill is there. Good dodge from Benny also on the Maw as he just comes in with a quick jump and pushes for the Dragonite. It's Varian in it. He wants to keep. At this point, it doesn't seem like he cares if he dies or not. He just wants to keep, and he's going to get it. So the keep is gone. Varian is trying to escape here. That's going to be his job. As at the top lane, the fort has also fallen. So big wins for the Cats just all around in this game now. But Varian is likely going to die. I mean, that is what they currently want. They want to make sure that they at least take him out. And honestly, I don't think they can. Nope, he still made it out. So one fort and the keep falls through the Dragonite. And I guess the problem is just going to... I mean, the problem is going to be shifted a bit now. It's 17 versus 18, so they have 2 levels to bridge that gap, or it's going to be a level 20 advantage for the Cats. The next objective is probably their best chance to have a proper play here. But they also need to get kills. They have only gotten 2 throughout all of this, and there comes number 3 and number 4. Now we're talking. Alright, this is looking a bit better. Exodia stack is all of a sudden picking up some kills and a bit of momentum and start to close the gap in experience between the two teams. A little bit of resistance as the Cats were just way too powerful here. So decent moves, great moves from the Cats actually throughout the game. But this is already where we had problems, or where they had problems on the last map. They were really struggling a bit in the late game situation against their opponent. Now they save Zagara, but it looks like this bottom fort at a minimum is going to get destroyed. So some structural damage now done by Exodia stack. Jojo jumping out here, but it's a 5 versus 3, or at least it was the entire time, so not really a whole lot that can threaten them. The good news is, of course, that you still have the play at the bottom of the map for the mercenary camps, with some heroes still being dead on the other team side, so that's good. Vikings still controlling those side lanes and getting more XP for the team. And they will be more and more helpful as it continues to. We've already seen it in the last fight that Olaf's stun can do a lot. Now, on the damage side, we have Tracer with 38,000, 43,000 for Zagara. Second highest damage on the blue team is actually Hogger right now. Yep, and the Dragonite is now up. Vikings are starting to control the lanes. They could have, in this case, actually, they could have snuck in that DK. They had a small opportunity there. Nano, by the way. It just dips his head out for 1 second and instantly gets heavily attacked. But level 20 is now up. Go for the Haka too. So with level 20 we get Dark Lady's Call. They really want the Haka here, but they gotta be a bit careful on how far they go with this. They obviously know that Lucio is up at the top, but still, you have to be careful since you don't have your own Storm talents if you're engaging into a big team fight. That's still a big setback. So, right now, they are looking for the 20 talents. I mean, at the end of the day, what the Exodia stack is trying to do is just delay the next Dragonite long enough for them to have their own level 20 so that they can at least have a fair fight against the other team. And Tracer, she's even defending up at the top, but now they have to deal with the mid lane unless somebody moves to the top and deals with that. 20 talents are ready, so they can technically try and go for that fight. Here comes the Falling Sword. Now they have the cooldown reduction too, which is going to be massive, and they get the kill on Varian. Dark Lady's Call was used, but didn't lead to a kill for the red team. And this is big. Heaven's Fury is massive. Absolutely massive. It's such a great talent. It's one of the things I love the most about the time when we had a lot of Falling Sword action with Johanna. And this is what we're now getting again. So, yeah, they can, for now, negate the Dragonite that was threatened by the opponent. And on top of that, of course, they have much, much better tools now available. Just look at this. Cooldown reduction already kicking in. Jojo jumping in deep. Gets hit by the isolation, though. Needs to be careful here. But Nano, squishy as he is, falls on Zagara. Still an attempt to turn that fight around by the Cats. But they lock down Hireth on the Haka, as he was the one causing most of the problems here. He tried to escape, couldn't make it work. So that's a kill and a Dragonite. It's the late game again for the Exodia stack. Time and time again. The early game, the mid game for the Cats just looking strong. And then in the late game, all of a sudden, the blue team just unleashes all their power and gains more and more momentum. In the middle of the map, we have a fort that will likely fall to the minion waves here. The Vikings pushing in for it too. And down at the bottom of the map, now that we're 17 minutes into the game, we have the attack on the keep and it just falls. It just goes down. They're going through those structures like hot butter through cheese, absolutely crushing them, and mark their way over towards the core as well. And it looks like that's game. They get another kill, they take Lucio down, and that is game number 2. The 2-0 lead in the best of 5 series for the Exodia stack against the Cats here in the losers bracket final. Nicely done. GG. Well played. Solo, game number 3. Exodia stack with a 2-0, aka we have match point. I feel bad for the Cats though, I really do, because they have shown some incredible early games. They've done well also with their mid-game performance, but it feels like every single time we're hitting the late game, all of a sudden Exodia stack, they turn on the turbo and just roll over their opponents there. Their composition catered a bit to it too, but yeah, it is what it is. So right now we have a 2-0 lead, we have match point, and the map choice was made by the Exodia stack. Cursed Hollow could be the final map of this series, and as I said before, this is a loser's bracket final, so whichever team wins here makes it into the playoffs and qualifies. The loser is out of the group, and the group ends with this series. Now, there is Group B still, there is a last chance qualifier, so there is still a little bit of hope for the Cats if they lose here, but you kind of want to make sure that you win this one. It's a huge gamble to rely on a last chance qualifier. Yeah, it's a rough one. So trying a comeback could definitely pay off for them, but obviously it's a tall order. Winning 3 in a row against a team like Exodia stack is tough. But I gotta say, Cats are a team that have done that, I think, a lot more than other teams. They're oftentimes coming in as a bit of an underdog and then are surprising everybody because they are starting to take people down. So Lucio gets at this point picked as the first pick. We have him locked in right away. They are going to try and zip with him. Lucio actually has been raised in priority also during some of those series. Somebody actually made a joke a bit earlier, and I said, so no Reyna, no problem. And it feels a bit like it, right? They struggled in the winner bracket with picking Jimmy, and now they won 2 of their games without going for him. I'm not 100% certain if we're now seeing Dino rely on Jimmy once more on Cursed Hollow, but I think it's fair to say that their fixation on Reyna has gotten a little bit of a damper. Nothing too crazy, I still think they're going to play him, but previously we had more or less every single draft that they ran with the auto attacker. We'll see if they pick him here. So we get Blaze and we get Diablo. Beefy front line already. Good wall stuns. Blaze on the side lane. Always nice too. Again, Dehaka for the red team. So they want to have their global here. And we get Hanzo together with that. But after the next few bans come in, I really, really want to see what exactly the Exodia stack is going to pick here. Ana is banned. Ana is actually an interesting ban because Ana was played several times now together with Reyna as well. So they're going for some of the combos every now and then. And Ana getting banned out against Yasuo is actually pretty cool. So that shuts maybe some of the ideas of that Dino has for the draft. But how is the blue team now going to react to this? This is their chance to win this, qualify for the playoffs. And they go for Malfurion. And here is Jimmy. Okay, it is Reyna time. Reyna is in the house. And yeah, I want to see if this works out for them. Also, if it's really going to be Hazo that plays him, because their go-to Reyna player is actually Dino. Jimmy can be played by Hazo, of course, as well. They have a huge overlap on multiple heroes. And whenever Dino goes for something else that is maybe a little bit more mobile, that Hazo doesn't want to play, he can always go for Reyna as well. So he's been practicing with that, of course, too. I mean, the entire team has an overlap. Nano now with Chromie, and we have twice on Mirrodin. But what's the final pick here? Is there going to be a swap between the 2 damage dealers, or is it really going to be Hazo that uses the Marine in the game number 3 of this series? So, final pick for Dino. And they go for Genji. Alright, Genji it is. Cursed Hollow. First match point for the blue team. Let's head straight into the 3rd map of the best of 5 series. Match point! It is Cursed Hollow, and it is the opportunity, the chance for the blue team to get a victory and to advance to the playoffs. Can they pull it off? Yes, no? Well, that's the big question. Currently, we have on the left side for the blue team, Hazorbs on Jimmy. We get Bad Benny on Diablo. Dino is playing Genji in game number 3 with Bloodcool on Blaze and Yasuo on Malfurion. Furion. Over on the right side of the map, Captain Rex for the Cats, playing Lucio. We have Drak here on Hanzo. Twice is playing Muradin again with Dwarf Block on level 1. Hirath on Dehaka. And we got Nano on Chromie. First Stormbolt immediately whiffs. Nah, I didn't. Zoning Stormbolt. Just trying to zone out the opponent a little bit. And what do you know? Actually worked out perfectly for them. Oh, Benny, get wrecked. Chromie with a big hit. Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of teams are banning Chromie against Nano. So that attack shut Diablo down quickly. Benny is gone. He'll be back. But that's a good start for the Cats. Then again, if we're honest about it, the early game wasn't really a problem for the Cats in all of these games to begin with. They've been doing extremely well there. It was the late game where they're starting to have problems. So we'll have to find out if maybe on this one they can turn things around. But it's going to be a tough... It's a tough one. 3 games against Exodia stack. Yeah. Not impossible though. It has been done. But we'll see. For now though, usual early game shenanigans, everybody just setting up on the lanes now that the 1 minute mark has passed and the mercenary camps spawn on the map. This becomes a big focus for both of the teams. Could be an invade, and actually Twice is checking already. Trying to slow this down a little bit and just says hello quickly. But there's also a whole lot of defense coming. They're rotating in to defend immediately. And this is a bit of a weird one, because it seems like the red team was really thinking about going for a proper invade and trying to steal the camp away. To actually committing resources to this. Now that they haven't done it, there's a mercenary camp on the map for the Exodia stack, but the Cats haven't used their time to do the same. So that's already a nice little advantage for the blue team that they can try to get some momentum going. Potentially in the middle where they are going to aim for the structures. And because the defense has to be set up too, it means that the Cats don't have an opportunity to go for their own camp yet either. So nice little start. I mean, again, it's these details that really matter here. Haas already getting attacked. The drag, that was a wow. That was a huge lick. Long distance licking from Dehaka. Okay. I mean, honestly, take another look at this one. Look at the range on that thing. It came in, gets pulled out, and somehow, like, how did that even happen? So Dehaka is able to connect that. And they get a kill on Jimmy, and that's the first one. And again, just underlines the problem that Jimmy has in situations where he gets flanked, where he doesn't have a team that can help him out and can sustain him a little bit longer. Still worked a lot for the Exodia stack so far, but this is the problem that you have to mitigate through your teamwork and your positioning there. And of course, then on the same... in the same vein, in the same play, we then had also, again, Nano with absolute precision on his attacks and the damage. Now, 2 kills to 0 in the game. Blaze all alone at the bottom of the map against those siege giants and also against the wall. So they're likely going to give up the tribute. They have to given up the tribute at the top, and they're also giving up another hero. That is the end of Diablo. Genji trying to well, punish Dehaka, but... that is a lot of early game kills. I mean, honestly, if they would just avoid some of these kills, I feel like the mid and the late game would go so much easier for the Exodia stack. For the Cats, though, that's great. I mean, the Cats are going to be really happy about how this is currently working out. It's another game where they're doing a great job early on and are just making inroads to getting a head start over the opponent, and hopefully this time for them, snowball the game a little bit further. Behemoth armor on level 4 for Jimmy, as we already seen in past plays. Level 7, also no surprise with the unstable compound. Likely the penetrating round cooldown reduction again will line him up on level 13. That's one to still watch out for. Other teams that have tried to play Jimmy in the earlier stages of group stage A have tried with different variations, and it hasn't really worked out too well. The second tribute now up. This is also another opportunity, of course, for the blue team to at least get themselves one early game tribute. The positioning is certainly better for them. But, yeah. Top. Chromie just doing her thing too. And Genji is already starting to move in. And not hitting the trap. Yeah, they gets the heal from Furion. Trying to pressure Twice a little bit. The Haka at the bottom of the map still locked into his... He actually jumped it twice. I mean, they know that it's likely that we're going to have traps in those bushes, but he jumped it twice right there before they sniffed that out. So now they're going again for the Haka, who was trying to aim his attention towards Jimmy again. And now for Reina, it's a little bit easier here to make his moves. Also slowing Sands for Chromie, trying to control the choke points, make it also very difficult for Reina to engage into anything here. Diablo's dead again. Lord of Terror, my ass. Weak Kitten is more like it, what we're currently seeing. So, yeah, that is not terrifying in the slightest. That is the third time that Benny has now died. Where is Tag Me when Benny feeds when you need him? 4 kills to 0. Not a single kill for the Exodia stack, and they're likely going to lose another tribute. Diablo is back and is on his way. Wasn't fully stacked, but it's early in the game, so the death timers are mega low. But Hazu is also in trouble and gets killed. Yep, that is Jimmy gone again. This the same problem. Gets a bit flanked, first CC connects, and then he has just no chance getting away from this. So they just get Diablo back, and then we have Jimmy dying. One of the problems that the Exodia stack, of course, had throughout all of this is that a lot of it, or earlier, was against ults that were just a little bit faster for the cats, not by too much, but simply Chromie having access to a level 10 was already a big advantage with the slowing Sands controlling the space, and they're trying a similar thing here now. Genji again coming in, going for his brother, the heal, and Dino is in trouble and gets killed. He can't get the kill himself, and therefore he's not able to get out. That would have been a neat little move if he eliminates Hanzo, but at least it's a 4 versus 4 now, since the Haka was also destroyed, so they get the tribute after all. It's a bit of a weird one. I mean, a long back and forth battle between the two teams that lasted for more than a minute, but at the end of all of it, the Exodia stack picks up the tribute, and they're even a little bit ahead in experience. So, not too crazy here. That's actually pretty respectable if you think about it. And another look at the experience distribution is already giving you some added information there. I mean, it's the minion experience where the blue team is just doing so much better. They're much more diligent about their minion waves. If you look at hero experience, very different story. Massive gap between the two teams. But mercenaries, minion waves, that's right now where the Exodia stack excels. Benny again. Yeah, he is not going to have a happy game if this continues. He died 3 times already. 20,000 damage from Genji, top damage dealer in the game. And now at the bottom, they're even nibbling on the potential play for a tribute on the side of the cats. So, let's see what happens in the mid lane as another camp comes through here. This time also he has his stacks completed, so if Diablo dies now, he will be back quickly. They seem to be trying to go for this one. Again, the play for Hanzo. But Dino is really pushing the envelope with these plays. I mean, he is obviously an absolutely exceptional player. And them pushing the opponent back and him really making sure that they were busy as hell trying to stay alive. It allowed for another channel on the tributes. That's the second one now in their name. But oof, if he gets at some point hit and killed, that turns. And that's what they were trying to do. I mean, as he engaged, we had, for example, Hanzo unleash his arrow from a short distance, not only trying to save himself, but of course also attempting to turn the situation completely around and make it so that they get the kill instead. And if Genji there dies, then, yeah, they're having a problem. But as it stands right now, we have Genji already moving back towards the top. So starting to do his thing there. Always looking for a bit of scouting, looking for some added information. In this case, they're actually sniffing out that the boss is about to be taken, or at least getting attacked, and they are trying to invade. They're now having no interest going for their own boss. Instead, they want to try to steal this away. Apocalypse! The engage from Benny on point! Muradin still able to jump out, and Lucio shuts down the jet propulsion. So the boss leashes as they're all on level 13 talents, but God, that could have been a disaster for the cats. That could have been an absolute disaster. This can still be a disaster. Here comes the arrow from Hanzo. The bunker, and bye-bye Jimmy. Jimmy is dead again. And here's the curse against the red team, so at least that's a win for the Exodia stack. Oh, if they can kill the Haka. Yeah, not quite. Well, he tried again. But that's not the only one. Genji, as I said before, he has to be careful here. But on the other hand, the fort obviously is not contributing to this fight. So this is still an open battle. And they get the Dehaka kill. Dehaka is down. Jimmy is back on the map. Chromie was at the top lane already throughout all of it, trying to defend the fort. Bottom fort has now fallen. But they, of course, are going to try and get a bit more out of all of this. That is, again, a nice opportunity for the Exodia stack. They're down 5 kills now. But they are getting value. Well, they got value until all of a sudden it was hammer time. And it turns out that Blaze was cosplaying as a nail. Genji also killed. The wall at the bottom is going to fall. Jimmy is trying to take down the top fort. Most likely going to get that. But he also has to run. Lucio already has his number. Yeah, one hit. Getting it away. The arrow dodged, and he gets out. The top fort is destroyed, and at the bottom of the map, at least the gate has fallen. So it's a little bit of a weird one, because in experience, the Cats have now taken a half-level advantage, but they are down 2 forts. They're trying to go for the boss again. It's a 5 versus 5 on the map. An early level 16 talent for the Cats will give them an advantage if it comes to a fight, though. And the team just moves away. Instead, they're going to go for their own boss at the bottom of the map. Which I suppose the Cats are already suspecting. They're not beelining for this immediately, I would assume. Actually, they're trying. They're trying to check out if they can get there in time, and the answer is just, yeah, no. Nope. So, this one gets taken. Topside fort will, of course, fall to that boss now. 16 talents are in. That gives Chromie the fast forward. And we have also Dwarf launch for Muradin. Yeah, a couple more camps now on the menu. Jimmy, by the way, when you're looking at his level 4 talent, 13 stacks on the Behemoth armor. That is basically a stack a minute. Stack a minute, not more than that, so not really crazy. So not a whole lot that he was able to get out of this so far. Down at the bottom of the map, defense there by Chromie and Hanzo. I guess the towers are going to go down, but that's probably all that they're able to do here. Whereas the blue team has now set up another little push with the camp at the mid lane. Taking more control over vision as well. So grabbing that with the help of Genji. I'm actually a bit weirded out by the fact that Jimmy is all alone at the top. He's definitely someone that shouldn't be alone on the side lane, because if he gets ganked, then he's just simply dead. So that's something that you can only pull off when you know exactly where your opponent is positioning themselves, so you're going to run in trouble eventually. So another tribute up on the map now. Damage output of the last little skirmishes for Genji is sitting at 37,000, 27,000 for Hanzo. Jimmy himself with only 17k, which is barely more than what Blaze brings him. So the Fire Bat is threatening to out DPS the Marine here. Still a close game. And we'll see how they deal with Jimmy in the late game. With the level 16 talents, also the synergy again, paint them red and line them up. Oh, the Haka gets attacked, but no Apocalypse commitment yet. Tribute hasn't been taken yet either. Genji is jumping back out. Ult's only very sparely used here. But they are trying to all center this around the Tribute. Another interrupt against Chromie. Already getting attacked from behind here. Dino, here comes the APOC! And Chromie with a timeout. Chromie gets the timeout in. Malfurion already with his ult. Diablo with another quick engage as Hanzo is dropping his own arrow and gets the stun through. Bunker is on the ground as they're controlling the space here. That was clutch plays from the Cats. They had multiple heroes that were close to dying, but they survived through all of it. So good on them, but definitely some dicey moments. And it is not over yet. Everybody is still fighting for this. Siege Giants at the top lane, by the way. So they are going to threaten some damage on the keep if this continues, at least. So that's going to happen as well. Something to keep an eye on too. But yep, it's going to get wild here. Benny, low, taking lots of damage, but they're pushing them back. Same time now, the choke point starting to become a problem for the red team. They are disengaging through the corridor, and it's starting to become a problem for them. Here comes the next attack. Once again, the stun combo and the kill. Muradin is dead, but so is Blaze. Diablo, low and about to die. He's gone. That's a 2-for-1 trade. Jimmy is still on the run. And Genjia is already disengaged together with Malfurion, who drops another heal on him. So potentially Dino can re-engage here and tries to, as Jimmy centers around as well. With Muradin gone, one of the stun heroes is out. That might give him a chance, but here comes the Haka, and that's the problem. Penetrating round comes in. Diablo says hello again. Was obviously fully stacked previously, so he still controls the space here. Good heals coming out too. And Jimmy, with one hit after the next, they are able to take down Lucio. That was a big one. Big kill for them, and they get the bloody tribute. Insane. Tribute is taken. 4 kills to 11. Yeah, this is quite the game here. The series, honestly, is kind of nuts. It's not really reflected in the current score, but the series itself has been awesome. I mean, really awesome. The games that they're currently playing here, the moves that they're making, looking very, very strong and powerful. But the lead still on Exodia stack. 2-0 in the best of 5. And the chance to win this one. The Haka sitting at the top trying to get the experience for the Cats, who are now behind in XP. We have Drak here over here on the right side, and he's just getting the Siege Shines. With Nano sitting tight in the middle. They want their level 20. Chromie already has it, that's why she's not contributing. Malfurion has actually not died even once. He's the only one who hasn't died yet. And, well, here we go. We got Duskwing for Jimmy. Also, the fortified bunker is now in play. Diablo with Hellgate. And with the Storm Talons, they are setting up at the top. Boss is not getting attacked, but we have a tribute coming up. And, well, they want the freebie here. And there's a good chance that they're going to get this one for free. Nah, red team is not going to move in on this. They know that the avenues to get to that tribute are essentially closed off. So that's the second tribute for the Exodia stack in this objective rotation. In total, they have gotten 5 now. 5 against 1. 5 tributes against 1. So much, much better on the objective than the Cats. Seems like each team is going to go for the boss again. Probably going to be a little bit more dangerous to the red team than it is to their opponents. There's one tower down here too, so yeah, not necessarily. But we are, of course, now 17, 18 minutes into the game. So that boss is gonna do a little bit more damage. That one is definitely going to hit harder. Now, Dino is able to grab this with the team. They're already moving back over here. And are they gonna really attempt to push? Seems like they're thinking about it. We're moving into the middle here for just a moment. That boss at the top lane is going to walk straight towards the keep. There's catapults pushing through there too. Oh, another tribute. Okay, that is bad news. If they get this one, yeah, that would be a curse. And I think this is a freebie for them. So they're going to get that curse. 10 seconds, but they might still lose the keep at the top. So they're already pushing down here. But Blaze is staying behind because he wants to make sure that they're going to get the tribute. The Haka's coming in. Blaze isn't there right now. He's actually torn between going for it and just trying to get the tribute. The keep is a bit low, but it's not destroyed yet. At the top lane, the boss is also going for it. Here comes the curse. And now what can they do with it? This keep is likely going to fall. They're not going to go back to defend. They want to take a keep down. This is the minimum that they have to do in order to even draw even with the opponent. They're pushing in the mid lane as well. 20 talents are there. So there's a lot of pressure now coming in. But that boss has taken the keep out. So they have to at least get that. I actually think this is a bit of a weird one for them. Even if they get the keep now, it's not going to be enough. Guys, you just got to curse. You got to get something out of it. If you're getting a curse and it doesn't give you anything, they're even going to lose. Guys, they're going to lose the game here. They're going to lose the game if they don't deal with this right away. The catapult is out, and the core is at 50%. They're totally underestimated, me too, how much damage this would do to them. Because they had the curse. The curse did nothing. The curse did absolutely nothing. They just lost their keep, and they lost 50% of their core. That's where we're at. Yeah, that curse did not do anything for them. The bottom keep is still standing, and I don't care that it doesn't have any hit points, essentially. It just means that one team has now catapults spawning continuously and the other one doesn't. If they can force a good team fight, then this is going to change things. But, boy, that did not work for them at all. Mirrodin gets attacked, stunned around a little bit. Jimmy with big hits now. Big damage. Big arrow, by the way, too, but that one went nowhere. So, yeah, that arrow is on his way to South Africa at this point. All the way down to the bottom left. That was an interesting development in the game. They completely miscalculated this. I didn't expect it to do this much damage either. I'm going to be completely blunt here. But, yeah, that was not good for them at all. So, can they turn this a little bit more? And, I mean, what exactly can they do with it? Already, Dehaka is getting attacked slightly. So, yeah, Dehaka gets attacked here. Is able to get away. They had to bunker up for this one too. Bit of a chase is still going. I mean, honestly, essentially what is happening right now is that the blue team is saying, hey guys, we need to keep control of this. They got Siege Giants at the top. They are kind of pinning them down a little bit, but once that they lose control over the flow of the game, there's always the chance that you're getting, for example, backdoored. But now Genji dying is a disaster. Genji dying and getting murdered here is an utter disaster, and the cats are just on their way to try and take this. Hellgate used, stun connecting with Jimmy, he's dead. No chance, and that could very well be game. If they get more kills, yeah, it's just lights out. That is 4 kills. Diablo might be back, but that is way too much for them to handle. They're going to move through the top lane, and they're going to end this right now. Dehaka is already there. We are going for sure to a 4th game between these two. That was a fantastic late game play from the Cats, and it leads to them winning the 3rd map and starting a bit of a comeback. They're burning Diablo down again. Glorious performance here by the Cats. Nicely done. They exploit the mistakes of their opponents, and now with a 5-man team wipe, they go and take the core out. Cursed Hollow goes to the Cats. GG. Well played. We have a series on our hands. The first point on the board for the red team. Well, here we are. Game number 4. So, the Cats have put a point on the board, and now we're heading to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Now, I'm just saying, currently we had 2 games without Jimmy, and both of them were won by Exodia Stack. Then they try to play with Jimmy, and all of a sudden they lose. Coincidence? I don't think so. I think we might be onto something here. No, all jokes aside, obviously, right now it starts to get a little bit trickier for them to actually get those Reyna comps through. But maybe later we'll see that again. I personally doubt that we're going to see him here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I would expect some other heroes to really have an impact. Jojo gets banned. I was just about to say, not banning her would most likely result in Benny taking Johanna again. Great interrupts on any channel on the objective. You have good control over the lanes. She's generally a fantastic hero and has a lot of survivability. And you have the wave clear. Now, what they also banned, though, which was another big factor on why this was so successful for the Cats in the previous game, is that we have now Chromie quickly banned. So, yeah, that was always something that was supposed to happen. I mean, again, you're going up against Nano. He already showed you on the previous map how strong his hero is. So, yeah. Lucio as a first pick. Huge impact right now in most of the games. So the meta, the healer meta has definitely shifted a little bit. We see a lot less Brightwing, see a lot more Lucio right now, the occasional Oriel that sneaks in. So all of those small patches as Blizzard has YOLO'd out over the past definitely are having in some an impact here. Sylvanas and Blaze to start the draft off for the Cats. So Blaze on the side lane and then Sylvanas for more push power. But Exodia Stack, they gotta buckle down now. Keep in mind that they actually lost the winner bracket final, where a lot of teams already expected them to just simply breeze through the winner bracket and qualify directly for the playoffs. It hasn't happened. So them being down here in the losers bracket is already a bit of an upset. Now they go up against the Cats, and just winning one map for the red team is nothing crazy, but still not something to take too lightly. Should make sure that they are fully focusing here. Now that we have Blaze on the side of the red team, result is that the Haka ends up in the hands of Exodia stack, and we get Bad Benny on Muradin. As Diablo definitely suffered a little bit on the last map, so now Muradin is going to try and rectify that. They're banning Genji out. There is still Tracer around. So if they want to have an annoying hero, they can still go for Tracer with Dino. That would be an option. Genji, yeah, he got the axe this time. I mean, Dino's just a monster. He's a total beast, and they just looked at the Genji performance of the last couple of games and they're like, no, thank you. No, no, no. We don't need that in our games anymore. Whereas the Exodia stack still has to figure out what exactly they want to get rid of, and they decide that they are the ones to ban Tracer out. I think this was probably their thinking a bit, because there's a good chance that the Cats themselves take Tracer. So when I see the Genji ban, for example, my brain jumps immediately to Dino going into Tracer, unless it gets picked away. They were apparently thinking along the same lines and probably weren't planning to take her, so they just make sure that the red team can't claim her either. And that leaves us now with a double pick for the Cats, where we're getting Anduin and we get Diablo. Diablo Blaze, great combo at the front, with them picking Anduin again. It could have been a Tracer performance from them, but Nano now has also still Mephisto to play. He could still go for Hanzo, who is open. He has obviously played as Calphas before, but I don't think we're going to see him here with that combination. But just Mephisto would also be annoying. Like, if he wants to play a mage, he has still good opportunities. I mean, the Gul'dan is also open, so again, plenty of stuff that they could take here. The blue team, on the other hand, Tacita and Hanzo. So, yeah, Hanzo for Arzu, and then Tacita, and instantly there's the Mephisto pick. Already highlighted that as a possibility. There we have it. Game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if the Exodia stack can finish the series, or if the Cats are forcing the 5th game of this loser bracket final. It could be the final map of the series, or it could be the start or the continuation of a massive reverse sweep. So, let's see what the teams can actually pull off here. Right now on the left side we have the blue team. We have the Exodia stack with Dino on Tacita. Bloodcool is playing the Haka. We get Hazops on Hanzo. Yazu with Lucio, and Bad Benny on Muradin. On the right side of the map, their opponents, we get Drachia on Sylvanas. Herath is playing Blaze now in the 4th game. Nano, with definitely one of his comfort heroes, is playing Mephisto. We have Captain Rex on Anduin, and Twice is playing Diablo. So apparently a little bit of a lag problem that has already been resolved, cause for a quick pause, but now we are off to the races. And honestly, as far as pauses go and problems, this is probably as good as it gets right at the beginning of the game, and nothing has really happened yet. The teams haven't even met yet, so yeah, this is perfect for that. And talking about meeting, they are meeting with a bang. I mean, damn. Instantly we have the attacks coming in, the first few walls also being set up. Tacita, obviously, an absolute workhorse with wall after wall after wall, getting those electric fences into play and just trying to annoy opponents as much as he can. I love it when Tacita gets played together with Diablo, because it's just so much fun to see the walls being set up and then a second later being used by Diablo as a tool to stun an opponent into. So that was always quite nice. That was actually quite fun. In this case, obviously, they're playing on opposite sides, so that's not going to play a role here. Yeah, Dino's already starting to zap around a bit. It's going to be that mage battle that we're going to see throughout the game. With Hanzo immediately making a beeline down to the bottom of the map to try and take the siege giants for the team. So, yeah, first thing that actually happens here. Whereas Lucio is just annoying Blaze a little bit, who tries to rotate down to the bottom of the map. We're having the siege giants already locked in very, very quickly. Sylvanas not even making a play for their own camp yet. Yeah, and they got to deal with the siege giants, of course, now, because if not, then their wall is going to take damage here. And that's definitely something that you are trying to avoid if possible. That, on the other hand, is a pretty nice hit. Hazu slowed and dead. So, yeah, first blood here. Hazops, the old man, goes down. got hit hard by that jet propulsion. That hit full on in the face, guaranteeing that Hazu is dead and that Hanzo needs to visit his local dentist. Because that one had an impact. Now, they're already going for the next attack against Yazu. He's still able to get away here. But they're obviously trying to turn this too. And Dracula is getting nice damage in against Mirrodin, forcing Bad Benny to jump out. Blaze, the drag. But Anduin, the old Killjoy, with a quick pull to safety. So first blood again for the Cats. Definitely, again, eager to force game number 5. Now, I said it already before, but even the games that they lost, they actually played extremely well. They had a lot of games where it looked for a long, long time like they would be the team to win it all, and then just weren't able to pull it off. Another kill against Hanzo, though. So, yeah, in old age, the reflexes get a bit lower. I mean, tell me about it. But there's the double kill against Hanzo now, so he's gone. Got 2 kills to 0. Tassadar also a little bit low. Not really a glorious start for the Exodia stack. The Cats, they are... I think they see that they have a bit of an opportunity here. I'm just always terrified whenever I look at any of the leads that they have. I'm terrified of that Exodia late game. It just feels like they're making some mistakes or they're overstepping a little bit in the early game. And then when they really, in the late game, start to take things serious, all of a sudden, it's a totally different team. But right now, we have at least a few kills for the Cats. They're making some very nice moves. Hasn't led to a massive advantage yet. I mean, they're even behind in experience when you think about it. But now the attack over here in the middle, as we have gems turned in by both teams. And both of them also have enough gems to get the first turn in if they could just continue it here. Tassadar has gone full AoE, by the way, with the Scion Fusion on level 1 and then the Psionic Echo on level 7. So lots and lots of AoE power now for him throughout the entire game that he can unleash on minion waves and just burn those down with the Web Weavers, of course. Also another opportunity then. Blaze gets a bit caught, but is able somehow to wiggle his game through all of this. Like, how? Those were 4 heroes that were trying to body block him. And it didn't really work. A wall on the other side. He just makes his way through and coming through, and passes them to get back to safety. Good for Blaze, but still a bit wild. The turn in here is coming in, and I guess Bloodcool on Dehaka is going to finish that off. The blue team gets the first set of Web Weavers, so they have them, and now they just gotta check out how much damage they can actually do with them. By the way, Mirrodin did not go into Skullcracker, went for Give Him the Axe here. So, give him the axe for Mirrodin instead of the Skullcracker choice that we've seen in most of the games so far. Yeah, Anduin is a little bit low, but Nano's also getting good damage out. And now it's just a question of how well they can defend here. How good is the defense of the Cats? Exodia stack is going to try and break at least the walls, but damage on forts would of course be the hope here for them. The attack already coming up at the top. Sylvanas is all alone here. Hanzo. Actually, we have the tanks now also saying hello real quickly. In the middle, this is where the main defense is. Oh, every time you think, hey, now they got him, then all of a sudden Anduin appears. And I forget about that little fucker every single time. I'm sitting there like, oh my god, he can't get back through the gate, they got him. And then Anduin is just like, zip, and ruins the moves. So they went for Diablo here, trying to make a play. But as this plays out, the main attack was happening at the top lane, where they got 50% of this. Hanzo is dead again. Hazu is just feeding at this point. That's the 3rd time that he now dies. All 3 kills against the Exodia stack are against Hanzo. So, yeah, Hazu is getting slaughtered here. They're trying to get some additional kills too. 5 versus 4 right now. Blaze with 24 gems. Careful. Yeah, also in the menu here, but the numbers advantage is of course quite nice. Good drag, and Mirrodin gets hit and killed. Mirrodin is down. Finally, they get a counter kill though. Level 10 abilities on both sides, and the black hole of Tassadar immediately solves. Yeah, that's the end of Anduin as well. Black hole definitely can be pretty exciting as a tool. I mean, as I said before, I have a lot of experience there as well, working as not only a pizza delivery boy, as a doctor, as an astronaut, a policeman, a fireman. and a real estate agent, I have explored many a black hole in my time, and I can tell you that it is definitely something that can be very exciting, as Tacita just showcased a second ago, using that immediately after hitting level 10 in order to get a bit of an advantage and a kill in that particular fight. Now that they have the next set of Web Weavers, 2 in a row, they're also going for a kill on Blaze, and they take him down. And they might even be able to guard those gems, and they do! Nano was trying to get them, couldn't. Anduin is dead. Benny will likely die, but that was absolutely worth it. 100% worth it here. Not only did they guard the gems, they still traded a second kill, and now Anduin is missing. So that was big. Now they're making a play for the fort at the bottom of the map, and they still have the Haka pushing through the middle. This is worth it for the Exodia stack. Some very, very cool plays right now. Not only denying gems to the opponent, trading kills with them, taking the first fort out, 2 turn-ins in a row. So, yeah, big plays by the blue team. And they are rewarded by lead and experience and, of course, by structural damage. The topside fort has suffered a lot of damage. Could be taken out later. Hanzo should probably retreat, but this is still damage against the wall, in addition to everything that has already happened. Gets pushed in, a couple of heroes are defending, and that could give the blue team another shot at maybe the top lane, but nah, not making a move for this yet. But yeah, that was solid. Bronzebeard Rage now on 13. Tacita is going for the Shadow Walk, and we still have 57 gems in the hands of their opponents, the Cats. But as I said before, they lost a lot. I mean, think about this for a second. We haven't had a single turn-in yet for the Cats. And Exodia stack has already had 2, which is in total 105 gems. And they still hold 30, so that's 135 gems. If you compare that to what the red team is still holding, that's half. I mean, not quite. Two-thirds, roughly. So, they lost a lot. A lot of gems lost from the Cats. But, yeah, we'll see how much further this is now going to go. Because if they can stop the turn-in even more and maybe get another kill, then they can really destroy them there. The boss attempt, though, is scouted out and interrupted, and that's a little bit of a problem. That arrow not connecting with anything is also not really all that great. Bunker is already out. The Haka's trying to get away. They are moving back out here. Even the black hole didn't do a lot for them. So, yeah, that fight was a bit on the, well, we tried, but it didn't work side. Could have been a great one, though. They're still dealing with this in the middle, but of course, all that counts for the red team is right now that they're trying to turn in. They need to try and get their turn in going, and that's where they're headed for now. I mean, at this point, we have 21,000 on Mephisto, 20,000 for Hanzo. Fight once again. Nice drag on Blaze. He doesn't have a bunker, and he goes down. Blaze is gone. Big kill. Red Web Weavers are going to be descending, but at the same time, they're down to 4 players now on their side, so that's going to make this attack really weak. Unless, of course, they get a counter kill. But Benny is able to jump out. Timing is still working out, kinda. I mean, Blaze is dead for another 13 seconds. The death timers are low. But it should still be an easy defense for them. So, yeah, already jumping back in. Blaze is back in 2 seconds. But they're off to a good start here, unless Benny dies. Wailing Arrow. Tried as a finisher. Nearly working out. Benny is making it. Tacita is now moving towards the top. So, yeah, Blaze is already back on his way towards the fight. But I gotta say, that could have been so much worse. If Benny died, then this would have flipped it again. That, on the other hand, is a beautiful wall here. It's an absolute fantastic wall. The wall is great. Tacita, he's amazing. Everybody says so. It's awesome. People are saying it. People are saying it. That was I'm giving myself like a timeout here. That was a horrible impression. Like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I brought shame on my family and my ancestors. Yeah, I can do better than that. I have done better than that. But yeah, that was weak sauce. It's a beautiful wall. Anyways, Psionic Shock now for Tacita. They got the 16 talents, so there's no incentive for the red team to really fight into this unless they want to try and prevent that Web Weaver wave at all cost. And the cost is pretty high, because that is Anduin gone. And what are these arrows? Seriously, Hazu, it's bedtime. 3 deaths already, and now the arrows are not connecting. I mean, easy for me to say, I know. But that's 3 Web Weaver Waves in a row now. That is 3 objectives, guys. So, I don't know. That's 3 in a row, and not a single one yet for the cats, and they are down 1 hero, and they don't have level 60 talents. This is a horrible spot for them to be in. Wow, if that Stormbolt hits and she dies, that would have been a nightmare. They're trying to go for Mephisto. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! That's a kill! He's gonna die! It's gonna take a second, but he's down. What? He made it out? Are you joking? Alright, good for you. But then they focus on Diablo. He has 30 gems. And the fight gets turned. Damn. The cats. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Diablo is dead as well. Well done here. Oh, yeah. 55 gems for the next turn. Yeah, kind of, a little bit of a... Okay, to be fair, yes, there was a turn-in for the red team, but it didn't do anything. So, it's essentially, I was right. Essentially, they didn't get a turn-in. But yeah, obviously they had won. But now they are trying to go for the boss. That little fight might just have brought the cats back into the game. If they get the boss now as well and just start snowballing it here, that would be pretty nice. So 7 kills to 7, 18 to 16. So there's still an advantage. Bosses claim 2. That might even destroy the top side fort. I don't think it's really going to take it out, but they're going to get there. But yeah, so we had now 3 turn-ins to 1. 3 turn-ins to 1. Alright, alright, alright. But 1 turn it didn't do anything. I'd still argue. Okay, okay, it's bedtime for me too. I'm old, what can I say? So, top side, they're gonna take this one out pretty easily. Yeah, it's not gonna take the fort out. There's enough gems for the red team to get another turn in. That's why Muradin is currently sitting down here, trying to ensure that they're not getting that turn in for free. So he wants to shut that down and wait for the rest of the team to come in. Arrow gets soaked up. Okay, Diablo was standing in the perfect spot for this, so this could have been disastrous. But here comes the light bomb on Anduin. Chaos. Absolute chaos. And Anduin is still low. Anduin is low and tries to get away, but they go for Lucio and they drop him. But Mephisto has also died, and I think now we're going to see Blazefall, who holds 24 gems. So it's still a win for the team in blue. Exodia stacks. They remove 25 gems from the opponent, and they get a 2-for-1 trade in kills. That's about as good as you can expect in that situation. And of course, it also gets them much, much closer now to level 20. Which is another massive problem. So, yep. That is tough now. I mean, right now, with level 20 on the board and a 2-level gap, that means there's going to be minutes in which we're having an advantage for the blue team. So, you can go for another turn-in once you have the gems. If the boss respawns, 3 minutes, honestly, that's enough time for level 20 to also be ready for the red team. So, they're having some things are not really too bad, considering, all things considered here. So, they have at least a couple of, I don't want to call it advantages, but it could be way worse. If the boss was up at this point, or if the blue team would have more gems, could get an immediate turn in, get a Web Weaver wave with a level 20 advantage, that would be a lot worse. So, we'll see. I mean, right now, they still are trying to push, obviously, for a keep. So they're already trying to push through the bot lane just a little bit. In the middle, we have that camp here that's being dealt with by Mephisto, but they still got to be careful. Blaze? Oh, the lick? No way. No way. Anduin saves the target and the arrow misses again. If that arrow connected, it would have been a hit. Well, a kill. A hit and then resulting in a kill. But they should be able to get one of the keeps anyways if they just use the long distance attacks here. The problem is that they only have half a level until they're there. Yeah, half a level is all they have right now. But once again, Muradin is jumping in. Tacita has to shift out. But it's always Mephisto. I mean, Mephisto is sitting at 45,000 damage, so it's basically the same numbers that we're getting from Tassadar. Nano is just a beast on these. 61 gems, they should honestly turn those in before level 20 is there for their opponent. This is one of the things that okay, now we're getting some turn-ins. It's one of the things where a lot of teams are just playing this a little bit too risky because now they can get interrupted. So yeah, congratulations. They turned 17 gems in, they still have 47. They could have safeguarded those. The cats have 80 and they're already getting 48 delivered. So there's the red web weaver wave, the first one. No, that's of course the second one. But another quick wall. We try to take the hit points away from Blaze slowly. We have now Siege Giants at the bottom of the map and also Catapult coming in. So if nobody moves down to deal with that wave, it could be Blaze. But if nobody goes there, then the Web Weavers should be shut down pretty quickly. Oh no! Sylvanas gets caught at the top and gets killed. So Sylvanas is down. It's again the same situation. Once again, they get a turn in and the hero dies. And now the defense is going to clean this up easily. And if they clean it up quickly, they might even be able to go for the boss. Yeah, not really. That's a little bit too much to ask for. They can't do that. But, well, down here, they can take this out. Boss is up in 10 seconds. That gives them a 20-second window if they go there right away. That's not going to be enough. But we are late in the game now. 19, 20 minutes. Boss is definitely going to be one concern. The team in blue can now turn in, and they're trying to. I guess Benny at least gets interrupted. No! They all turn in, and they get the Web Weaver wave. And Hanzo is actually looking to get the boss here too. So this is going to be a bit of a weird one. They're trying to play for the boss here. Sylvanas is on the way. Muradin is attempting to stop this. Guys, they're going to get it. They're going to get the boss. This could be a knockout move now. The boss is taken, and that's a boss and a Web Weaver wave. Perfectly in sync for them. This is a chance to take Keeps out and win the game. 10 kills to 8, and we're now 20 minutes in basically, and this one is gonna hurt. This one is gonna hurt a lot. The Web Weavers at the bot lane should take out the keep without any problems whatsoever. The top keep is definitely gonna get destroyed. There's no way to save this. But can they save their core? That's the real question here. 51,000 damage for Tassadar. Diablo gets attacked, locked down, and dies. He did have his souls. He will be back. But Diablo is now a weak kitten, and we have the keep at the bot lane destroyed any second now, as the boss is already going for the core. This might just be the end. Mephisto safe, but they kill Muradin. Muradin is down. Maybe they can defend here. Muradin is gone. Oh, Blaze, he goes deep. Maybe a little bit too deep. And he survives, and instead Lucio falls. The core is at 50%. Web Weavers with the damage. The boss is still wailing away. The boss could take it. They're trying to defend it. The rest of the blue team is already moving in, trying to just auto-attack the hell out of it. 2 points. And it's game. It's game. Exodia stack wins the loser bracket final and goes to the playoffs. GG.